Okay, so in setting up this Lifestyle 40 aquarium, it comes with a light. Now, if you have live plants, then turning the light on once for about 6 to 8 hours a day. If you don't have live plants, I mainly just want the light on when you're enjoying the fish. Now, the way you hit the light is you whack this little button there, and you whack it once, and it'll turn white, whack it once, it'll turn blue, and whack it once, it'll turn off. So we want the white light on. They're a beautiful little tank, very good value. Now we're going to wash the gravel, give the gravel a good wash, just like you'd wash rice, and then put it in the bottom. Then you've got a couple of decorations you can add. That one, and over time, make sure you change your decorations to help to keep the tank interesting. So you're going to fill the tank up with water. Once you've got your gravel in the bottom, you've got your decorations in there. And then over time, if your decorations look crappy, put them in the sun for a day, then flip them over, leave them in the sun for a day, and that helps to clean them up a fair bit. Then we fill up the aquarium with water. We're going to add some water ager, and that's going to take out any chlorines and so forth from the water. Add a bit of GH salt, and say about 4 teaspoons of that one and a good squirt of that one. We'll get that ready. And anytime we're going to do a water change, when we're taking water out of the aquarium, we're going to add some salt. When we're just topping up, we don't need salt, because you will be surprised how quickly the water evaporates. So once a week, adding a bit of water with some water age is something that you want to do. And then you do want to bring a water sample down to us on a fairly regular basis. Let's say at least once a quarter, or definitely if you're worried about the tank, or definitely if you're going to add new fish. And then when we get new fish, we're going to float them on top for half an hour before we put them in. In the perfect world, you set the tank up, leave it there for several days, and then bring us a water sample, and then we can send you home with your fish. If you were particularly impatient, there are other options as far as using pre-cured water, but it is definitely better if you just do it slower. And now, as far as the filtration is concerned, we're going to turn the filter on, have that running 24/7. Now, what's in this filter when you buy it is... So that's your strainer, so the water sucks up through that. So that just goes on the bottom of your pump here. The pump's down here. Now inside the pump is also an impeller. So if we got that out and gave it a clean once a year, I'd be proud of you. Or if you notice the pump reducing in its flow. Now, when you buy these tanks, they come with these cartridges, and you really need to replace these cartridges every month or two. But if it was up to me, I would not replace the cartridges. I would put polyfilter in. Now, the reason why I put polyfilter in is that it will not release what it's collected, and it will also change to black to tell you it's full. So that's the media I'd rather use. Now, it also comes with some sponge here. It's really important that this sponge is cleaned in water from the fish tank, not water from the tap, because what will happen is when you take the water out of the aquarium to do a water change, you want to clean this in the water that you've taken out, because what we don't want to do is grow good bacteria in the filter and then have the chlorine in the tap water kill all the good bacteria off. Now the next thing is, so the filter is going to filter the water, but the filter is going to grow lots of bacteria in it, and that bacteria is actually going to suck the oxygen out of the water. So that's why we want to have an air pump. So we're going to put that somewhere, and this goes in the tank. And we don't want this in the tank near the inlet of the filter, because we don't want it sucking up the bubbles. So you just got to put that in there somewhere so the bubbles come out. And that's also contingency, just in case for some reason your power was ever off. Now, getting a flipper is a really great idea. You can keep that in the aquarium. It's got a little blade on it. And then you go around and just make sure that your glass is nice and clean. And make sure you don't get gravel caught under it, because you don't want to scratch your glass. Now, this thing here is a gravel vac. So when you do a water change, you can actually siphon the water out of the aquarium through the gravel. So the gravel will spin around and fall back down, and then the clean water, or the dirty water, will come out. And how often you do water changes is going to be governed by your nitrate and phosphate level, which we can tell you when you bring a water sample in. Because if you're not changing the water enough, we'll know, because the nitrate and phosphate are coming up. Most people in a tank like that would change a little bit of the water every 2 to 4 weeks. Now, as far as when you take the water out, I want to take it out with this. Now, when you do a gravel clean, if there's heaps and heaps of crap coming out, then maybe you should be gravel cleaning more. If you're doing it and not a lot's coming out, then you're pretty well right. Now, fish keeping is 50% water quality, which if you bring us a water sample, we can put it through our spin test machine, and we can give you advice on what your water quality is like. and it's 50% food quality. So the food that you choose is half of fish keeping. Most fish food is pressure cooked, processed crap. And most fish foods aren't even full of aquatic ingredients. They're full of terrestrial ingredients the fish don't even eat. But this is the food I want you to feed. This is Spectrum's probiotics. Now this is set at the absorption rate of the fish, so they do not have to feed them much. Next thing is it is mainly aquatic foods, and it's also got a probiotic bacteria in the food, which means when the fish poo, the bacteria in the poo eats the poo. So it's a really, really clean food. Now, the idea with this aquarium is to start off being a temperate water tank. So I mean things like sucking catfish, peppered cories, madakas, mountain clouds, zebra danios. Then also the fighting fish is something that you can look at putting in, assuming that your house is not too cold. If you don't get fighting fish, you could look at adding fish like rosy barbs as well. But the rosy barbs might nip on the fighting fish if you were very, very unlucky. Now, as far as food is concerned, I want to feed them 5 times a week and make sure it's all gone in 30 seconds. And when you bring the video in, we'll look at the belly of the fish, just seeing that the fish are not too fat or too skinny. And whenever you buy new fish, I don't want any food going in the tank for 2 days. Just let them have a bit of a scavenge. And at the end of the day, if you are worried about anything, just make a little video of what's going on and video any bits and pieces you got for the tank. Come down and see us, and then we can just guide you. Because fish keeping is super, super easy. What you don't want to do when you're fish keeping is don't feed too much, don't change too much water, don't filter clean too much. They're all the things that make a huge difference. Now, if you are a little bit impatient getting your fish and you're not going to wait for the water to be right, then adding some pre-cured marine pure balls are a very good idea. And the pre-cured marine pure balls just bring some good bacteria into the aquarium. Now, you can see that we've got these balls in all of our systems, but they really don't matter whether they're in the filter or just hidden in the back of your tank. So these are like compost heaps, these balls. So you just put them in there and forget all about it. You don't need to do anything with it. Just make sure you never wash it with tap water, and then it'll grow parallel nitrifying and denitrifying bacteria. Because ultimately how well your aquarium goes is you put some fish in, the fish produce waste, then you've got to have bacteria present to break that waste down. So if you put too many fish in at once, then you got yourself a problem, and because you need to wait for the bacteria to grow, because it takes a couple of weeks for the bacteria to grow. That's why you want to add your fish very slowly. Now, for now, the fish that we're looking at are temperate water fish. They're beautiful, easy to keep, active little fish. And then just be aware that over time, when you get a little bit over your tank, change is king. So thinking about adding a heater and a thermometer down the track, and that allows you to suddenly get a whole bigger range of fish, because ultimately when you're keeping fish, quite often change is king. So when you're adding fish to your aquarium, it's really important you add a very small amount of fish, then you wait for a week or two, then bring a sample of water and a video of the tank running down to see us. Then you could add another small amount of fish. And then you've got to be aware that as you're slowly populating your aquarium, the more fish you put in, the more maintenance you must be prepared to do, and the less fish in, the less often you need to do maintenance, and the quality of food is everything. So over time, as you bring us a sample of water and video in, if we start to see your nitrate and phosphate levels starting to raise, then you need to start doing more water changes. On the other hand, if your levels are good and your gravel is not too dirty, then you should be all fine.